If you're a homeowner anywhere around Orlando, you know the feeling, right? That to-do list for the house just seems to get longer and longer, and honestly, it can be a huge source of stress. So today, we're going to dig into some of those common frustrations and figure out what you should really be looking for in a partner who can turn that stressful list into a done list. I mean, does this hit a little too close to home? That list of repairs, the updates you've been dreaming about, it just keeps growing. It can make your own home feel less like a peaceful escape and more like a part-time job you never signed up for. And that's a feeling a lot of us share, especially right here in Central Florida. You know what I'm talking about. You walk into the living room and there it is again, that little hairline crack creeping across the drywall. It's a small thing, sure, but it's this constant nagging reminder that something's just not quite right. Or hey, maybe it's the kitchen, the one that feels like it's stuck in a time warp. It doesn't just make your home feel old, it can actually hurt its resale value down the line. These aren't just little annoyances, they're real headaches that mess with your day-to-day life. Now here's what's really interesting. These problems, they're not just random. A lot of them are super specific challenges that come from living right here in Central Florida, and because of that, they need a specific kind of expertise to fix them for good. Let's just look at the culprits, shall we? You got our intense summer heat, that 90% humidity that feels like you can swim through it. All of that makes building materials expand and contract constantly. Then you add in this shifting sandy soil we have in communities from Lake Nona all the way to Winter Garden, and boom, you've got the perfect recipe for those annoying nail pops and drywall cracks. And this just proves why local know-how is so important. Sarah, over in Winter Park, had been staring at those exact kinds of settling cracks for years. When you bring in a team that actually understands our local conditions, you get a solution that doesn't just slap a patch on it, you get something that lasts. So, once you get the problem, the next question is pretty obvious. Well, can I just fix it myself? Let's jump into that classic DIY versus pro dilemma, because trying to go it alone, especially here in Florida, can come with some pretty serious risks. This chart really makes it obvious. The projects that have the biggest impact on your home's value, we're talking kitchen and bath updates, new floors, they're also the hardest to do yourself. These are almost always jobs you want to leave to a pro who understands all the hidden stuff, like proper subfloor prep and why moisture barriers are so critical here. And listen, this is a crucial point. The biggest mistake isn't always trying a complex job yourself. It's hiring someone just because they gave you the lowest price. A rock-bottom price usually means they're cutting corners on prep work or using cheap materials that are just going to fail in our heat. I mean, there was a real story out of Windermere where a cheap crew installed a sink improperly, and just 6 months later there was major mold growing behind the walls. That's a mistake that costs way more in the long run. So, this is where the solution really comes into view. You need a trusted partner, someone who gets Orlando's unique challenges and is totally committed to high-quality work. Someone who can actually deal with all those local issues we just talked about. And experience is a huge part of that trust. For example, a company like TJ Handyman Services has been working right here since 2012. Think about that. That's over a decade of Florida summers. That gives them a deep, deep understanding of what it takes to make repairs and renovations actually last in this climate. The best solution is usually right in that sweet spot. It's not the sketchy, low-price guy, but it's also not the giant, overpriced builder. A great Handyman service bridges that gap. They offer that practical, high-quality middle ground that, let's be honest, most of us are looking for. So if you're sitting there right now and a project just popped into your head, something that's been bugging you and you want to get it handled the right way by a team that actually gets it, well, for a lot of us, the quickest way to get answers is to just pick up the phone. If you want a free quote or some expert advice from this team, for example, you can just call them directly at 321-424-8590. But what should you expect after you make that call? A huge part of building trust is having a process that's clear, that's stress-free, and that pretty much guarantees you're going to get a quality result every single time. And this right here is what a great process looks like. It should always start with a real conversation to understand what you want. Then a detailed quote so there are no surprises. You want to see that they're committed to protecting your home, doing the work with real skill, cleaning up every day, and finishing with a final walkthrough to make sure you are 100% happy. It's all about clarity and respect for you and your home. A really great partner can also handle just about anything you throw at them.
You should look for a team that can manage the big stuff, like full kitchen and bathroom remodels, but also knock out that nagging list of odd jobs, put together furniture, or handle seasonal maintenance. That's what makes them a true one-stop shop for your home.
And this feedback from Mike over in Lake Nona just hits the nail on the head. Honesty and transparency about pricing, that should be non-negotiable. You deserve to know exactly what you're paying for, from the materials to the labor, right from the get-go. Okay, let's bring this all home. It's time to stop just staring at that to-do list and finally turn it into a done list for good.
So here's the real question. Are you ready to not only make your living space into something you absolutely love, but also to protect your biggest financial investment by tackling these problems the right way?
If the answer is yes, then getting started couldn't be easier. You can check out a website like Handyman Services LLC.com to see their portfolio and ask for a quote online, or just pick up the phone and call 321-424-8590 to talk about your project. And just remember, that local expertise is everything. A true Orlando partner is going to be proudly serving communities all across the area, like Nona, Winter Park, Dr. Phillips, Windermere, Maitland, Ovidio, Kissimmee, you name it. The real takeaway here, your home should not be a source of stress. And when you have the right local expert in your corner, it doesn't have to be.